At this moment, a clear sound of horse hooves came from a distance. The monkeys looked up in panic and saw a handsome centaur running towards them. King Kong also looked solo. He has just reached level 5, but his strength is far less than this centaur. Although he knew he was no match for me, King Kong still turned around without hesitation and stood in front of me, roaring and exerting a strong pressure. The next moment, the monkeys immediately formed a defensive formation and looked at the centaur beast running towards them, as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Get out of the way! Under the monkey's shocked gazes, I calmly walked up to Centaur and discussed the design of the foal with him. Centaur nodded obediently and walked into the villa proudly. At this moment, the huge yard was silent. The monkeys stared at me in shock. They were shocked. I blocked the ferocious turtle in front of me. Now I slapped the centaur's butt. The monkeys' awe instantly reached a new level again. King Kong, you divide the monkeys into 2 groups. You take one group to stay and work, and the other group to go out and hunt zombies and collect energy crystals. Remember to let them hunt zombies by themselves. Don't do anything unless you encounter a high-level zombie. Bai Ling agreed and walked out of the villa with a cat-like step and a few monkeys. Come with me. I brought King Kong and the monkeys to the vegetable greenhouse. King Kong, you take 10 monkeys to dig a pond here. The tools are ready at the door. This is the design. I handed a photo of the pond to King Kong. King Kong began to direct the monkeys to get tools to dig holes and carry stones. You to go help Wang Hao change the crystal glass. You to go clean up the yard. The rest go find Xiao Shuang and follow his instructions. The monkeys immediately took orders and went their separate ways. The villa compound became busy again. I walked out of the vegetable greenhouse and came to the yard. While watching the monkeys work, while basking in the sun leisurely. At this moment, a vine quietly crawled over. Is the chicken but greedy again? The bat dung pile stirred after hearing this. A white and fat carrot came out and smiled at me. Pointed at the dung pile under his feet. What's wrong with organic fertilizer? It doesn't taste good enough. Chicken Butt shook his head, reached out and dug up the dung pile. Then he pointed at the soil with excitement. This doesn't seem to be unusual. The chicken's head shook like a rattle. Then it ran into the vegetable greenhouse and ran out 3 seconds later. It grabbed a handful of soil and put it in front of me. You mean the soil under this dung pile is the same as the soil in the vegetable greenhouse? Chicken's but excited. I can't believe it. After the apocalypse, all the land that has been exposed to the purple sun will mutate. Even if you dig deep into the ground, you can't grow vegetables and fruits before the end of the world. Even the soil in the vegetable greenhouse won't work. Those greenhouses are made of ordinary materials and are also penetrated by the light of the purple sun. I'm afraid that only places like the Academy of Agricultural Sciences in the world have the opportunity to preserve the pure land before the end of the world. That's why I spent a lot of money to install special sunshades for the vegetable greenhouse to block the ultraviolet sunlight. That's why I saved these pure lands where crops can be grown. And now Chicken Butt actually told me that the deteriorated soil under these bat dung piles is the same as pure land. This is simply unbelievable. Although Chicken Butt is a mutant plant that is very sensitive to soil quality, but I still can't believe this news. If the soil can really be improved by bat feces, then doesn't that mean that the famine at the end of the world is saved? Keep the Chicken Butt secret for now. The Chicken Butt nodded and got back into the dung pile. I took out a small bowl and put some bat's waste in it. Then I came to the bedroom on the 2nd floor of the villa. I carefully placed the small bowl on the windowsill. Then I took out a few jasmine seeds from the space temple and buried them in the soil. Then I watered them. These flower seeds are intact. If the soil quality is really improved, the seeds will definitely sprout. Just wait and see. I looked at the iron dragon in the corner. The bats were quietly crawling inside. Little guy, if your feces can really improve the soil, then you'll have to poop non-stop in the future. Pooping day and night, eating and pooping. I walked out of the room and came to the vegetable greenhouse. These vegetables consume a lot of water for irrigation every day. It's really a waste. Thinking of this, I came to the second vegetable greenhouse. There is no one here except me. I waved my hand and took out a water purifier from the space temple. Now let's try whether this water purifier can purify water. Even if the purified water is not drinkable, it can be used to water vegetables and trees. I immediately called a monkey to take a bucket and fetch 2 buckets of water from the mountain stream. The monkey immediately ran out of the villa with the bucket and returned 3 minutes later with 2 buckets of water. The water looked clear and transparent, but it had a strange smell. Whether it is a human or an animal, drinking it for a few days will turn into a zombie. If it is used to water vegetables, they will mutate immediately. Mutated creatures drink water, they can eat mutant vegetables, otherwise they can't survive. It's just that these mutant vegetables and fruits taste terrible. That's why Biling Fatty Centaur likes to eat the food I give him, because that's the food before the end of the world, 10 times more delicious. Pour the water in. The monkey immediately poured the water in the water bottle into the water purifier. I plugged the water purifier in and turned it on. The indicator light comes on and the water purifier starts working, quickly purifying the water in the tank. But no one comes to taste the purified water. However, how can we know the effectiveness of water purification without tasting it? Just then, Wang Hao walked in, rather fanned by Ling. They caught 2 sneaky people in the mountains. Ha 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 ha. Whatever you think, you God, lift the water purifier. Follow me. I followed Wang Hao out of the vegetable greenhouse. The white monkey immediately lifted the water purifier and followed. At this time, a group of monkeys pushed the 2 young men, walked into the gate of the villa. Brother Fan, these 2 people are wandering around in the mountains, sneaky. What are you doing in the mountains? I heard this is a rich area, so we came here to see if we could find something to eat. They didn't even bring a backpack to look for food. We lost our darts when we were chased by zombies. Yes, there are too many zombies at the foot of the mountain. We barely escaped death. We finally managed to escape. Oh, so you fought zombies before? Not so simple. Awakener. Warrior. I looked into the other young man's trouser pocket. It was bulging. He immediately winked at Wang Hao. Wang Hao reached into the man's trouser pocket and took out a telescope. Fighting zombies is tiring. Pour them a glass of water first. The white monkey immediately used the paper cup to get a cup of water from the water purifier and walked towards the young man. The young man was stunned and didn't understand my intentions. Water resources are so precious now, and he gave me a cup of water just after meeting me. Something is wrong. There must be something wrong with this water. You can't drink it. But the young man was thinking too simply. The monkey grabbed his neck and poured the water directly into his stomach. Drank the whole glass of water. Not a drop left. I nodded with satisfaction. You are quite clever. I will give you the name Xiaobai. Stay in the villa in the middle of the mountain and do odd jobs in the future. Xiaobai was so happy that he jumped up and down and immediately bowed to me. At this time, a glass of water was poured into the young man, who used his fingers to scratch his throat and tried to spit out the water. I looked at the man carefully. 1 second. 3 seconds. No response for 10 seconds. Could it be that the purifier really works? Suddenly, the man's face turned gray, like a leaf withering, and then he screamed. He kept twisting and falling to the ground, his flesh gradually festering, and he instantly turned into a zombie. Although the speed of destruction has slowed down, it seems that it is still not going to work. Why don't you try filtering a few more times? That makes sense. There's still a test subject. No. I'll tell you everything. I just wanted to use you as an experiment. I didn't ask you to say anything. Please give me a chance. I am telling the truth. Okay, then you tell me. In fact, the 2 of us were sent by Zhu Xian to find out the situation on the mountain. He said that this place is in a good position, and he wants to capture it. Is Zhu Xian the snake charmer? Master Zhu Xian, I am still Fahai. I will F asterisk king blow you to death with a mighty dragon. How do you know that Brother Zuzyan is the white snake? His right hand could turn into a snake. He can also control many snakes. Can you trust what Big Brother says? It should be the body type. The transformation among the beasts awakened. The beastly awakened. You can acquire the abilities of certain animals. You can also communicate with them. Yes, yes, yes. That's it. What level is Zuzyan? Are there any other awakened people around you? I just joined them 1 day ago. I don't know anything. Zuzyan said that as long as we complete this mission well, we can officially join them. If you dare to take our villa halfway up the mountain, I don't care if you are a dragon or a snake. I will kill you directly. Where is he hiding? 100 meters below the mountain. When will Brother Fan leave? At this moment, Xiao Shuang came over and whispered something in my ear. Master, the mutant carnivorous plants found a few snakes in the corner of the villa. My heart moved when I heard that. Master, do you want to kill those snakes? A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. Don't touch them for now. Xiao Shuang nodded and turned away. It seems that you two are both Zuzyan's spies and his abandoned children. HMM? What abandoned child? What do you mean? Xiaobai tied him up and locked him in the basement. Xiaobai lifted the man's collar with one arm, dragged him away directly. What's going on? Please explain it clearly. After explaining the reason, Xiaobai twisted the man's neck and fainted. What's going on with Brother Fan? Howsy, think about it carefully. Why would a person who could control snakes and communicate with them send to ordinary people to investigate the situation? At the same time, a few snakes happened to appear in our yard. Oh, I don't understand. Your brain. You should spend less time with Fatty looking at steady material. These two people are spies on the surface, but they are actually baits. For them, it was to lure us to 100 to B and B, a bait to settle accounts with Zuzyan. I dare to conclude that if we went to 100 to B and B, we would definitely not find Zuzyan, and Zuzyan will take advantage of our absence. Directly occupy the villa halfway up the mountain. The snakes that invaded the villa are actually the real spies. Oh shit. This Zuzyan is so sinister, as expected of a man who dares to play with snakes. My Brother Fan is not bad either. So what should we do? Take advantage of the enemy's tactics. Let's finish the work first. I've already replaced the crystal glass in the whole building. There are still a dozen left for backup. Let's go and have a look. Wang Hao took me to the living room on the second floor. The floor-to-ceiling windows have been completely replaced with crystal glass. Although some places are uneven, it is crystal clear and has good lighting and views. I knocked on the crystal glass with my hand, and it made a shocking clanging sound. Not bad. Very strong. Even a level 5 mutant creature can't break it. Of course, some abnormal creatures are excluded. For example, the level 5 Bloody Butcher, Tyrannical Monarch, and other powerful mutant creatures. By the way, don't forget to apply a layer of poison on these crystal glasses. If a fat guy or a chicken ass gets the urge to lick it one day, what does it mean? You'll be dead. This thing is poisonous. Poison dart frog old dick flap. What do you think? Fuck, I ate an apple when I changed the glasses without wearing gloves. No. Are you sure? The urine of the poison dart frog can relieve it. The corner of Wang Hao's mouth twitched violently. I just licked the saliva of the poison dart frog, and now I have to drink its urine. Haha. You can only drink urine if you are alive. If you die, you can't even drink urine. Yeah, that's right. At this time, the fat guy came in and yelled at me a few times, then beat his chest with his fists, pretending to be King Kong. King Kong and his friends have finished their work. Okay, let's go and take a look. A group of monkeys are pointing at the newly dug pool. I don't know what they are talking about. When they saw me coming, the monkeys instantly quieted down. All of them looked at me. I looked up and my eyes lit up. I never thought that the intelligence of these monkeys is as advanced as that of ordinary adults. But monkeys are monkeys after all, simpler and easier to control than humans. You did a great job. I waved my hand and a box of juicy peaches appeared on the ground. This is a reward for you. The monkeys were overjoyed and stared at the peaches with shining eyes. They all knelt on one knee and bowed down to me. Put those poison dart frogs into the pond. With a command. The monkeys all carried the iron cage over, then dumped the poison dart frogs into the pond. As soon as the poison dart frogs were released, they screamed at me. They were locked in iron cages, so they wanted to take their anger out on me. Even some poison dart frogs have started to prepare. Hit me. As soon as I finished speaking, the angry monkeys pounced on me. I saw the poison frogs were beaten, and they ran away with the crows. It lasted for 3 minutes. The monkeys dispersed. Stay in the pond and kill the pests in the greenhouse. If there is a bug eye on the vegetable, I will blow your eyes out. Go! I turned around and left vegetable greenhouse no. 1. Come to the stable. I want to see how the renovation project is going. Xiaoshuang is directing a few monkeys to work. The noises of the electric saw and hammer are very loud. I walked into the stable door and looked up. The entire stable was converted from the original garage, so the area is very large. Master, you are here. What do you think? It feels good. Do you like it? As long as the mayor likes it, that's good. Okay, then you guys keep going. I'm going to do something with Hao and the others. Then I walked out of the stable and closed the door to the mortar. At this time, Wang Hao, Bai Ling, King Kong, and the monkeys all surrounded me, eager to try. I straightened my black clothes, put on my hat, and strode out of the villa. Wang Hao, White Antelope King Kong, and the monkey group immediately followed behind, hiding in the vines of the mutant carnivorous plant. Fatty exposed his cerebellum. It smiled and hid. Several people walked out of the villa with great fanfare and then crossed a dense jungle. At this time, I winked at a monkey. The monkey rolled on the ground and hid in the dense grass. Half a minute later, 2 young snakes crawled out of the grass at a very fast speed and followed us. At this moment, the monkey next to him suddenly picked up 2 small green snakes from the bushes and ran away, howling as he ran. It was like a wild monkey that came to hunt and caught the hunter. At this time, the people who heard the howling stopped. I took out the same clothes I was wearing from the Space Temple, took off my hat, and put them on the 2 monkeys, then quickly hid in the bushes on both sides. The white spirit also split into 2. One continued to follow the monkeys forward. One hid in the bushes. At this moment, the 2 green snakes caught by the monkeys struggled desperately. The monkey that caught the snake was so scared that he screamed and dropped the 2 green snakes, run away in panic. The 2 green snakes ignored the monkeys that had fled, but hurriedly caught up with the monkeys and continued to track them. From the perspective of the 2 green snakes, one cow in black clothes in front and the big white cat are both there. Continue to track and monitor. The master has issued a death order. You must see it with your own eyes. Everyone walk to 100 to B and B, waiting for the monkeys and the 2 green snakes to go away. Wang Hao and Bai Ling walked out of the bushes. Let's go! The show is about to begin. I took Wang Hao and Bai Ling to the top of the mountain, walking into a hidden cave. There is a heavy iron door in the cave. Oh. Brother Fan, where did you get the big iron door on this mountain? This is the secret passage I built when I renovated the basement of the villa. At that time, I thought that if the villa on the mountain was surrounded, I could escape to the top of the mountain through the secret passage in the basement. I took out the key, opened the iron gate, ran in, and then turned around and locked the iron gate. This iron door can be opened from both inside and outside, but a special key is required. This is a secret passage connecting the mountain and the middle of the mountain. Due to the urgency of the time, so the secret passage is surrounded by earth walls. When I have time, I will repair this secret passage. Then I can major in it. I can directly control these earth elements. It won't take long to repair the tunnel. Okay, it's settled. However, only the 3 of us know about this secret passage, so we have to keep it secret. The 2 people and the cat walked forward along the secret passage. 5 minutes later, a large iron door that looked exactly the same appeared in front of us. I took out the key again and opened the iron door. The 2 people and the cat had already arrived at the basement. The basement was supported by 19 huge stone pillars, and iron oil lamps were hung on the stone pillars. There is a long table in the middle and a dozen cat blankets around it. It looks like a meeting room. There are several compartments on the left and right that can be used as bedrooms. They are fully furnished. Going further ahead is a corridor. On both sides of the corridor are more than a dozen dungeons. At this moment, the man is imprisoned in one of the cells. Two big brothers, please let me go. I've told you everything. I ignored them and opened the exit of the secret room with Wang Hao and the white-collar worker. I walked out directly from the bookcase in the study on the first floor. Then I came to the living room on the second floor. I sat on the recliner in front of the French window and looked down with interest. The compound. We should be there soon. At the same time, an off-road vehicle and several trucks drove to the villa compound and stopped at the gate of the villa compound. Two trucks were full of supplies on the trucks. This is a really good place. It's a pity that Jia Fan is a fool and was deceived by my little trick. Only I, Zhu Xian, deserve to live here. What do you think? The dozen people behind him didn't say a word, because they understand that Zhu Xian didn't talk to them. The next moment, the snakes crawled out and danced wildly around Zhu Xian, swallowing and spitting out red snakes. The men showed fear. Try to keep a distance from Zhu Xian. They will never forget the bloody scene of the cold Zhu Xian feeding several living people to snakes. It has become a nightmare engraved in their bones. Boss, do you want me to blast him away? Suddenly, you idiot, this place is our territory from now on. How can we use it if you break the door? He Qiang, take the people in. It's the boss. Zhu Xian and suddenly jumped directly into the villa compound and walked forward with big strides. Behind them, hundreds of poisonous snakes were dancing wildly, following behind them like a tide, swallowing and spitting out snake pores. At the same time, He Qiang's body made a popping sound, and his flesh and blood kept swelling. All of you, go in here. He Qiang stretched out his two big hands, grabbed the people next to him, and threw them into the yard. The men were thrown into the villa by He Qiang's hands, and they were all grimacing, but they didn't dare to get angry. That terrifying, huge body can smash a person into pulp with one punch. Who is still lying on the ground? Get up now! Follow Basu! Everyone hurriedly got up from the ground and followed the snake tide, looking at the mountain villa with curiosity. Zhu Xian has arrived in front of the villa building. At this time, an eyed snake crawled over from the side, swallowing and spitting out snake tongue, as if reporting some information. There are greenhouses for vegetables and fruits here. It's really nice. There is also a little maid, a few monkeys, and a horse in the villa. Very good. All of them belong to me, Zhu Xian. He Qiang brought the supplies in, and the others found the little maid and the monkey to feed the snake. Suddenly entered from the French window on the second floor balcony and opened the door of the villa. At the command, He Qiang moved his huge body to carry the supplies. The men began to search the yard for the whereabouts of the little maid. Suddenly walked to the front of the building and jumped to the balcony on the second floor. Well, Zhu Xian and others were startled and hurriedly turned their heads to look at the balcony on the second floor. I saw a young man in a black shirt standing on the balcony. His eyes narrowed, sneering and looking down at the people below. Jia Fan, shouldn't you be at home? Humph. You really think that two small baits can lure the tiger away from the mountain? In my memory of my previous life, this snap-playing Zhu Xian was the overlord of Chang'an City. He was famous for his snake-playing skills and ruthlessness. And Zhu Xian's road to victory ends here. Zhu Xian, your luring tiger away from the mountain doesn't work. Look at how I caught the turtle in the jar. I snapped my fingers. The next moment, the mutant carnivorous plants in the yard suddenly rioted. Several vines came from all directions and covered the sky and instantly entangled the bodies of several brothers. The flowers fluttered and bloomed quietly, swallowing a young man who was fleeing in panic into his bloody brain, then chewed hard. In the blink of an eye, only Zhu Xian, Sunli, and He Qiang were left in the villa compound. What should the boss do? They're all garbage. If they die, they die. Sunli burned all these vines. He Qiang smashed the balcony for me. Sunli's muscles swelled instantly. Flame ashes appeared between her eyebrows. He reached out. A stream of hot flames spurted out from the palm of his right hand. You like playing with fire, don't you? The sound of horse hooves rang out, and the centaur immediately rushed to the second-floor balcony. The mayor confiscated his tools. The centaur stretched out its little hand and sprayed a mouthful of blue ice towards Sunli. The next moment, the burning flame instantly condensed into ice. The blue cold air spreads like wind along the flames and directly froze Sunli's right hand into ice. At the same time, He Qiang shook his huge body and rushed towards me. He raised his huge fist full of oppressive power and smashed it towards me, and I stood on the balcony, not afraid at all, not even trying to dodge. Go to hell! Just as the violent fist was about to fall, He Qiang trembled all over and froze in place. He was horrified to find that there seemed to be many invisible ghosts' hands in the air, grabbing his arms and then tightly pinching his neck. He Qiang's neck was twisted in a weird way. The huge body never fell. The last thing He Qiang saw of this world was a fat rat in the vine barrel, with one hand on his waist, pointing at him and cursing. From the moment He Qiang entered the compound, Fatty had already started to draw circles and curse him. It was just that the curse kept accumulating until the end before it exploded. What happened? Jia Fan clearly didn't do anything, so how could He Qiang die? He is a level for Awakener. Useless trash, come to me. Zhu Ziyan waved his hand and the poisonous snakes behind him surged like a tide, climbing up the rock wall. If any of them can bite me, I'll die. I smiled to myself and got up to eat spicy noodles. The vines all over the building were exposed instantly. The vines instantly wrapped around the venomous snakes on the walls and strangled them fiercely. A bright red flower bit a cobra, and then dipped it in organic fertilizer and sucked the 2-pound snake into the flower bud and chewed it hard. The poisonous snakes were strangled by the vines before they could even climb to the second floor. Zhu Ziyan was immediately enraged when he saw this, and his legs instantly turned into a thick snake tail, which suddenly launched him into the air. At the same time, he swung his sleeves and his 2 arms turned into a pair of ferocious white snakes, biting my neck fiercely. Zhu Ziyan, a level 5 player, actually confronted me, a level 6 player, head-on. That was sporting death. Zhu Ziyan fell to the ground with marks all over his body. You are already level 6. How could Jia Fan reach level 6? It was by chance that I got a few black iron gold energy crystals, so I was able to reach level 5 in a short time. Zhu Ziyan originally thought that he was the first person with the highest awakening level in the end times. Brother Hao, don't let him run away. This kid has many tricks. Don't worry, Brother Fan. Wang Hao waved his hand. The mud instantly climbed onto Zhu Xian's body. With a bang, his skin burst and many green snakes rushed out and fled quickly. This is a good way to escape, but it's a bit disgusting. Zhu Xian, who turned into a snake, could turn into several green snakes and escape in a critical moment. As long as one green snake escapes successfully, he can hatch out of the green snake's body again and linger on. Wang Hao jumped out and suddenly stepped on a pile of green snakes. Land assassination. Suddenly, whose right arm was frozen, was stunned. Jia Fan's strength is unfathomable. This guy is also extremely strong. He actually killed Zhu Ziyan in 1 second. Damn, I can't stay here and be buried with Zhu Ziyan. Just when Sunli was thinking about how to escape, Xiao Shuang, who looked harmless, came out. What's going on? Why did you make such a mess in the yard? How did this little girl come in? Sunli looked at the harmless Xiao Shuang and suddenly her eyes lit up, as if she had grabbed the last straw to save her life. Sunli gritted her teeth and broke off her frozen right arm. Then she embraced Xiao Shuang with her left arm and held her white neck tightly with her 5 fingers. Don't move! If you move again, I'll break her neck. After saying this, Suddenly realized that Wang Hao and I didn't seem to be in a hurry at all. Instead, we looked at ourselves as if we were idiots. Little brother, what are you thinking about? You dare to kidnap my little maid. This is not the way to commit suicide. Don't they care about the life or death of this little maid? It shouldn't be. The little maid is so beautifully dressed. She should be very valued. Don't come over. If you come over, I'll kill her. Before she finished speaking, suddenly found that her chest had been pierced by the vine. Hey, it's delicious. Xiao Shuang looks harmless, but she's actually a bloody lily. Xiao Shuang's bloodthirsty skills, not only can it devour the flesh and blood of its prey, it can also absorb the energy in its prey to replenish its own losses. The higher the level of the prey, the more energy Xiao Shuang absorbs. Master, so what exactly happened here? This girl is getting dumber and dumber. It's nothing. I just killed a bunch of little thieves. My little maid is getting prettier and prettier. No, Master, the stable has been renovated. Come and have a look. Wait a minute, they have gone to such great lengths to deliver the supplies to my door. I can't refuse them, otherwise, it would be too disrespectful. As I said this, I came to a few trucks. I roughly counted the supplies in the car. This Zuzian is too poor to have so few supplies. I accepted with a smile. I loaded all the supplies from the 2 cars into the space temple. Brother Hao, please dispose of all these scrapped cars. Don't forget to drain the oil from the tank before disposing of them. Okay, Brother Fan. At this time, King Kong led the monkeys back to the villa on the hillside. The monkeys did not go to 100 B and B in vain. They directly carried all the tables, chairs, and sofa beds from the B and B and returned with a full load. What are you going to do with these junks? You mean to put them in the monkey cave for your own use? It seems that monkeys are evolving very quickly and have learned to use furniture. Maybe in 2 years, we'll see the rise of the apes. Take it back. Don't forget, you have to go down the mountain to hunt zombies every day and hand in at least 100 grams of energy crystals a day. Letting the monkeys go down the mountain to hunt zombies is not only to stockpile energy crystals, it is also to train these monkeys and let them improve their strength as soon as possible. King Kong immediately agreed and bowed to me before returning to the back mountain with the monkeys. At this time, night had fallen. I walked into the villa and gave Fatty a bottle of Coke. Then I asked Chicken Butt to clean up the corpses in the yard. Then I called Centauri and followed Xiao Shuang to the stables. Do you like this stable? As long as you like it. Okay, it's been a long day. Let's go to bed early. I left the stables and returned to the master bedroom on the 2nd floor. I fell asleep and slept until dawn. After breakfast, I went to the bedroom and started to practice cross-leg. The bed was piled with 300 crystals, all of which were collected by Hu Corner when he went down the mountain to hunt zombies these days. 2 hours later, my lighting system broke through to the bronze level. Level 7 consumed more than 80 energy crystals. The space system has reached level 6, consuming more than 90 energy crystals. It's a waste of resources to upgrade this space system. The lighting system has a very high talent. It only consumed 86 energy crystals to upgrade from level 6 to level 7, but it took 98 to upgrade the space system from level 5 to level 6. In my previous life, it took me 3 months to upgrade the space system to level 5. This time, it took only a dozen days to break the record of my previous life. Suddenly, a strange wave came from the sea of consciousness. I checked carefully and found that it was my space system that gave me a new skill, Space Cage. As the name suggests, the space cage can seal off a certain space. According to my current level, the space cage can seal off 3 cubic meters of space. The shape of the sealed space can be whatever you want. Isolate all sounds and air in the sealed space. It's like a vacuum. Of course, the space cage can be broken by external forces. As long as the space cage's bearing capacity is exceeded, the cage will be broken. I thought about it. The space cage is a typical control skill. But if you impose a space cage on yourself, then it can be used as a defensive skill. And the smaller smaller the blocked space, the stronger the cage. For example, if you use the space cage to make a piece of armor for yourself, the defensive power can reach an amazing level. At present, even a level 7 mutant creature may not be able to break through. At this time, Bai Ling walked into the bedroom and my mind moved slightly. Bai Ling was instantly surrounded by a transparent space barrier. Bai Ling screamed, but I couldn't hear any sound. The space barrier didn't react at all. I smiled and waved my hand. The space cage disappeared. Don't be afraid. The master was just teasing you. Hurry up and start practicing. We are going to the auction tomorrow. Bai Ling nodded obediently, stretched out her little claws, grabbed an energy crystal and began to absorb. 1 hour later, a strange wave came from the living room. The evil breath was like a retro body, surging wildly in the air. My heart moved and I opened my eyes. This familiar breath should be the Fat Man's curse breakthrough reaching level 6. Sure enough, the next moment Fatty walked in with his hands behind his back and a bulging belly. The curse emblem on his forehead shone brightly. He was surrounded by strange waving hands, sometimes transformed into hideous ghost hands, sometimes transformed into twisted skeletons. Let's take Fatty to the auction this time. Maybe he will be Fatty came to me with big teeth, smiled and pretended to drink Coke. I took out a can of Coke and stuffed it into the little fat boy's arms. This is a reward for you. Let's go out and have some fun tomorrow with the owner. At this moment, a violent killing intent swept over. Bai Ling suddenly opened his eyes. Level 7 Bai Ling's shadow scheme broke through level 7. The fat boy was so scared that his whole body froze, he fell straight to the floor. Then the little fat man's body